how I came into all of this. Because I said, I want to see us to have fight. I don't want to just keep writing articles. I don't want to just keep giving speeches and keep selling books and keep seeing stupid laws come out of Tallahassee. Do you know that in the last session, someone, a Republican, tried to push forth a law that says a cross-dressing boy has a right to use a girl's dress room in a high school? A Republican. We've got to change this. They have to know we mean business, and not just the ones we elect in Northwest Florida. So what's the final thing I'm going to ask you to do if you join? I'm asking you to take a $100 bill and put it underneath your mattress. And you're not going to give it to the FRA. In the next election, if we have 50,000 members at $100 each, that's $5 million, we're going to be able to direct that money to campaigns all across the state. And so if there's a gentleman in Volusia County that's 3% behind, and he needs help, and we can put $100 grand in his pocket to help him get elected, because we know if Matt Gaetz runs, he's going to get elected, depending on how they redistrict him. So why do we need to spend so much money local when we know it's a very conservative issue, and we can send some of that money to the central and southern part of South Florida? Because our goal is to have enough conservatives in Tallahassee that actually believes like we believe and walk like we walk and desire to have the same things we desire. So with that, I'd like to open it up for questions.
What's that website again, the Florida Republican?
Florida.republicanassemblies.org. And you can Google NFRA, and it's usually the first or the second one that comes up. In fact, our attorney that helps manage our stuff for FRA is also one of the top 3 attorneys for NRA. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
On your website, I know when it first came up, there wasn't any way to donate to that, to make sure that it went to the Florida part. It was just the national part. Is that fixed now, or?
Well, no. If you go and sign up on the FRA page, it comes directly to us. Not NFRA, but FRA. Right. The donation should be up in about a week or 2. There's another step that we have to go through to accept just donations. But not many people are donating right now. They're just signing up online. So you can go online and sign up, or you can sign up tonight if you just write me a check, make it out to FRA, and I'll put your phone number on it because I'd like to give you a call back here in a week or 2. Yes, ma'am.
How do we do the group thing?
The group thing.
There's a group thing.
Yes.
Hey.
Tea Party organizations like yourself who desire to create a charter membership so that you will be a chapter of FRA. We already have a couple coming aboard. I'm pretty sure that Niceville is going to do it. I spoke to their board about a month ago. They were all on board. Also, another Tea Party group. I get confused if it was Santa Rosa County or it was one of those. And we just had Volusia County. They literally left they were a Republican club. And they just said, we had enough of you. We're tired of the Republican Party. You want to talk about an Agenda 21 issue. They have it in Volusia County. And Gail can tell you. But they left and they formed a charter. So how do you do it? Number one, you have to have 25 members, which would be almost everyone in here in this room. Number two, you have to go online and take our bylaws, download it. You can edit them to fit your needs, but they still have to be approved by the executive committee. The bylaws are written by some very smart people for the sole purpose to make sure that a local charter can never be taken by outsiders. It's very basic. And one of the cool things about NFRA that really amazes me is how many elected officials or those running for office come and want to be endorsed by the NFRA or the FRA, as you'll learn in the future. And how are they endorsed? Well, let me just tell you, in California, and this is the way it works in all the states. In California, every major politician running for office went to the CRA convention to get the endorsement. It takes 75% of those present to receive an endorsement from the CRA and from the FRA. Same bylaws. Now, it isn't just a one-time election. If you don't get it, you're at the state convention and you get 56% of the vote. Well, we give you about 2 or 3 hours to go and try to find another 23% or 17%. And so you go and then we take another vote. And then now we're to see you at 61, but this guy like a 34. Well, maybe we like this guy. And so you'll have, over a 2 or 3 day period, you may have 3, 4, 5, or 8 votes taken trying to get someone to 75%. And so if they don't reach 75%, they don't get the endorsement. But if they reach 75% and they get the endorsement, they get to say, I'm candidate X, I've been endorsed by the National Federation of Republican Assemblies and by the Florida Republican Assemblies. And so, for instance, at the end of October, the NFRA will have their national convention in Iowa. They will have a presidential straw poll. They will also have a national endorsing convention. And to give you some ideas of the big hitters that come, Mitt Romney and Ron Paul and Newt Gingrich and Ronald Reagan, of course, back then. I mean, the list is this long. You name anybody that's at the national level, they show up. And so I just got an email, literally, right before I spoke, saying that there were 2, possibly 3 presidential candidates that were going to be there trying to get the endorsement. And so it's huge for the endorsement aspect factor of it. And so in California, there was a big fight between those running for governor and the federal Senate, U.S. Senate, to try to get the endorsement. So it's a lot of fun. But you just basically need 25 members. And the membership doesn't have to be 25 applications. It could be a family of 3. It's just 25 members. It's not 25 paying members. And so we make it very easy on you. Because our goal is saying, okay, yes, you get 25 members in here. We want 1,000 people in Okaloosa County to be a member. And so we're trying to bring all the Tea Party groups together to form one big hub that we can go out and represent this county as well as all the other ones in the state in Tallahassee. Now, if y'all don't know, Tallahassee, the general session next year starts in January. And so our goal is to have a state convention right in the middle of the thing. Do you know how much power we will have in January as conservatives in the state of Florida in January? Right before the general primary and right before the general election? Do you know that we could just get whatever we asked for this coming January? I am not exaggerating. Because January is enough time to say, you know what? We don't like you. We're going to get someone else running against you. They're going to feel the heat. They are going to feel the pressure. This is a dream come true for people like us. Because they're going to want our money and our vote and our passion to help them get elected. And so if we show up with 50,000 membership base come January, and they know we have $5 million in our bank account, not the FRA, but just among our members, because you'll never give that $100 to us. What we're going to do is we'll have like a money bomb. Anybody not know what a money bomb is? A money bomb is a term that politicians use. They put it on a website and they say, I'm trying to raise $100,000 today. And so from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., you're sending everybody, you say, hey, go give $20 to Joe Blow. And so you'll see the little meter rise throughout the whole day until they reach $100,000. And so our goal is to do the same thing, is that we're going to direct you. We'll say, hey, look, Matt Gaetz needs $50,000. Go to his website, give $1. Because we want to spread that $5 million around the whole state. And so what we're trying to do is, number 1, put bite in our bark. Number 2, have influence. How many of you, like myself, would like to have influence in Tallahassee? I want to have influence, and we have to play by certain rules. Doesn't matter how mad you get. Doesn't matter how passionate you are. If rules aren't played by, you'll just be left out of the ballgame. Yes, ma'am.
Last year, we had a case with John Krause running against Chuck Miller, and John Krause became an independent, and of course the Republican Party cut him off from everything. He wasn't allowed in the room. So how would that work under the Republicans?
To become a member of the FRA, which is, the bylaws are pretty much an extension of the national bylaws, you have to be a registered Republican. If you're an independent, you have to say, I abide by the Republican ideology. You just sign a faith statement, basically. That's a good question. I'm going to go give you my gut level honest answer. If he left the Republican Party and ran as an independent, my gut level is they said, okay, you can't be endorsed. That's my gut level answer, but I don't know because I've never heard that question before and had thought about it.
You shouldn't be able to. Not if you leave the party, you should.
However, but if someone like him got the endorsement of the FRA, he would be able to fight with the big boys.
Well, it started out as a Republican, and he switched to independent so he wouldn't have to go head-to-head against Miller and...
Right. I understand.
And one more question. 7 of us have joined the REC in Okaloosa County. And of course, we've taken the loyalty oath. And we're not supposed to endorse in the primaries. So how does that work?
Well, that's the great thing about the FRA I like about. The Republican Party can't endorse candidates in the primary. And they shouldn't be able to. You know, if I'm running the Republican Party, I don't want the good old boy network endorsing some guy over here. But the FRA, we can. And we do. And we will. And so we're going to print up cards, but your endorsements only come from the state convention. And it also only comes like after the primary, we'll say, okay, let's have an online vote. And so you'll come online and you'll vote and that sort of thing. So we endorse, but we don't just, there isn't, the executive committee at top doesn't just say, well, we're going to endorse this guy over here. No, it has to be the members that endorse, first of all. We get a vote, but we get the same amount of votes that you get. As it relates to you being an REC member, no one's going to know that you're voting in the FRA.
They will.
Well, we don't ask for your name.
Hey, they pull me one. They don't know what's going on.
Well, you're right about that.
Some of you already joined the FRA, and if you join and y'all decide to do the group, or if not, some of you want to join, but if y'all do decide to put together a charter, then your membership will be counted toward the charter. Yes?
Brian, let me ask you, okay, what is the reason we would want to have a group then? I'm not quite understanding.
A couple of things. Number one, you get to come under our 527 umbrella. So instead of you going out and hiring an attorney and all that kind of stuff and coming up with paperwork, as long as you collect less than $25,000 a year. I assume that you haven't broke that budget yet.
Did you buy a bumper sticker?
We have, run to spend it.
So as long as this group stays below $25,000 a year, you can come underneath our umbrella, you can go out, you can raise money, you can say, hey, we endorse candidate X locally. You can go out and do all these sort of educational endeavors without worrying about crossing some border, some line, that sort of thing. Secondly, you get to help direct the FRA. You will vote on issues from a board and send it our way. And the goal that we have is, okay, let's set up the charters that comprise of various groups. That way, if this group dies off, in 5 or 10 or 18 years, the FRA charter still exists. And because once you initiate one of these charters, man, I have looked at some, and you just can't kill them. They'll have 3 members 57 years later. In fact, that's where I came up with this. I went and found some members, and they had a website and the whole thing, and they looked like they had a big event going on in Maryland or Rhode Island, and found out there was like 12 members. And they've been going for like 20 years or something. So the biggest advantage is this. A lot of it we hadn't ironed out, and I'm just being honest with you, but the biggest advantage is the 527. The second advantage is that we are putting together, and we're in the process, but we're trying to put together a group of attorneys that can represent us. So that if you ever run into trouble, and you say, hey, we got ourselves in a mess, or there's something constitutionally we don't agree with in our county, can we get some legal advice? Second, by creating a charter, you're encouraging membership within the FRA. If we get 50,000 members, 80,000 members, 100,000 members, all of that money, 90% of the impacts of that money is for Tallahassee issues. And you know what? If we get Tallahassee squared away, we're going to get the 2 senators from our state squared away. We're going to get all of the representatives representing us correctly in Washington, D.C. is my belief.